Good morning, Thailand. My name is Alex, and I have some updates from around the land of smiles for you today here at the Thaiger this Thursday, June 20th. Now, we're going to get started with our main story today, which concerns what was a very harrowing tale in Bangkok yesterday, as a seafood restaurant owner's son has finally surrendered after a fatal shooting at said restaurant. Now, the owner's son, Thanakorn, turned himself in after shooting 2 employees, killing one and injuring another, early yesterday morning at a restaurant in Tian Thal. The incident started when Thanakorn tried to stop the employees from drinking alcohol, leading to an argument and subsequent shooting. After the altercation, Thanakorn fled, but later surrendered to the police, who are now investigating the case. This is one of those situations where it seems like there's more bubbling under the surface. Employees drinking on the job, sure, big problem. But you're having a problem of leadership if you're resorting to brandishing a gun and then, of course, letting it loose. This is completely unacceptable. There's no recourse. There's no coming back from that from the employees, right? Some other kind of reprimand or punishment would have been appropriate. However, this restaurant owner's son has surrendered, and he will be facing the full weight of just the Thai legal system, at least. It always messes me up with this stuff. Obviously, mental health is going to be at play here as well. But, you know, mental health cannot be an excuse when you've taken away somebody's ability to live the rest of their life. So hopefully the book will be thrown at him as an example for anybody else in a position of power trying to, lead a team, manage a team. This is not the way to go about it. So we'll keep you up to date on how that proceeds, because this one's making headlines and waves here in Thailand. All right, yes. Well, that escalated quickly, said Sing in my car. Perhaps more to the story, says Scott D. Yes. We'll have to see. I'm sure there was some history between the son and those employees. However, no excuses, right? At the end of the day, I think we know what happened. One person is responsible for the death and the serious critical injury of another person. No two ways about that. Anyways, that's not the only death I have the misfortune of reporting to you guys today. Now, there was a strange poisoning incident that happened in Yasothon. Now, a mushroom curry deadly dish has killed one. That's right, so this mushroom curry in Yasothon province caused severe food poisoning, resulting in one death. Now, contractors working on home renovations mistakenly included toxic mushrooms in their meal on June 16th. 6 contractors fell ill shortly after eating, with one, Paithun, later dying. The mushrooms, including toxic charcoal mushrooms, were bought from a local forager, Tia, who mistakenly collected them. Most of the affected contractors recovered, but investigations revealed the toxic mushrooms' resemblance to edible ones caused the error. Similar incidents occurred in a nearby village, highlighting the danger of misidentifying wild mushrooms. When you're in this in this world where you're a forager and you're trying to sell your goods, you have got to be careful. And this is where we ran into trouble. Misidentification led to this error. Fortunately, most of them recovered, but one death. How do you find fault in this situation? The woman clearly is at fault for selling poisoned goods. This was certainly not her intention, though. It's a bit of a different story than the last one we covered, because intent was certainly not there, but the results are the same. So be careful, guys, when you are consuming, goods from especially mushrooms that are of questionable origin, because it can lead to severe food poisoning like this. It has happened to me in the past, I will tell you, and I have felt like I was close to death. So it can happen to you. It's happened to me. Just be careful when you're consuming here. All right, sorry to start off with the sad stories. Now we got some big corporate stories coming in. A major lawsuit involving an insurance company and COVID has broken into the news. So the Central Administrative Court has dismissed Sin Mun Kong's insurance public company's 40 billion baht lawsuit against the Office of Insurance Commission. The case involved the Commission's ban on canceling Sun Min Kong's COVID 2-in-1 insurance policies sold during the pandemic. In 2021, Sunmin Kong attempted to terminate these policies, citing financial strain, causing panic and protest amongst policyholders. The Commission's Order 38/2021 protected 16 million policyholders by preventing policy cancellations. The court ruled that allowing Sunmin Kong to evade compensation would undermine trust in the insurance sector, affirming the order's necessity to maintain coverage integrity. Oh, another day, another insurance company trying to get out of paying its policyholders, am I right? Glad to see that the Thai court system has shut that down, keeping them on the hook in order to pay out those policies. You know, it's one of those things. Insurance loves to sell policies, and the whole point is we're buying insurance because of peace of mind, right? And insurance companies want to sell as much as possible in the hopes that they never actually have to pay out. So this was a specific COVID policy that they rolled out in the wake of that international tragedy, the pandy, knowing full well that the fear was high and that there would be plenty of people to take them up on that policies. So if they didn't structure that policy well and make sure that it was funded in order to pay out the many people that would be seeking claims, because I mean, obviously, tons of people got COVID. So this seems like it was shady dealings on behalf of the company, and I'm glad that the Thai government has stood up for those policyholders to make sure that the company is on the hook for those policyholders. Ugh, frustrating stuff, man. I hate seeing that, corporations, man, it's just kind of the name of the game. It's all about growth. It's all about the P&L and the bottom line. And the problem is you're dealing with very real human customers that have very real problems and are going to be relying on those policies. So, yeah. Greed cannot win out in those situations because there'll be so many people left holding the bag and, of course, their medical bills from infections. So, yeah, good on them. 40 billion baht, you're still on the hook. Now, our next story is taking us up to Lopburi. I think if I say the word Lopburi, you know what I'm going to be talking about. We're going to be talking monkeys. Now, a troop of monkeys escaped from their enclosure in Lopburi, causing chaos in a local police station and nearby residential areas. The escape happened yesterday evening, and by this morning, over 30 monkeys were roaming freely. They disrupted the police station, forcing officers to shut windows and doors. Officials from the Department of National Parks and the local municipality used cages and food to lure monkeys back. The monkeys returned to their enclosure for feeding time, but some remained on rooftops. A gap in the monkey enclosure was identified and repaired. Authorities are working to capture all the escaped monkeys and advising residents to secure their homes. Oh, good God, we just had a Planet of the Apes movie come out, and in Thailand, it is closer to documentary than fiction. Lopburi, every time it pops up in the news, it has something to do with the crazy monkey population that's going on up there. There's been plenty of programs rolled out to try and, house and enclose this problem and mitigate this problem, whether it be from, sterilization campaigns to stop the overpopulation, or creating new monkey habitats so that they feel comfortable in this more urban environment. Seems like nothing's doing the trick, as they're still escaping and still causing havoc for the citizens of Lopburi. So hopefully we can find some sort of peaceful, amicable solution. Who's going to negotiate with the monkeys? I don't want to do it. They seem like tough negotiators. So hopefully they can figure it out and they can stop being such a nuisance to the good people of Lopburi trying to go about their everyday lives. Shy Boy says, someone should capture the Monkey King. I think King Kong has something to do about this, right? Yeah, capture their leader. Cut it off at the head. I don't think that's what's going to work. I think we're going to figure out some sort of way to cohabitate with them. But in the near future, be on the lookout. The monkeys are still causing a bit of havoc up there in Lopburi. All right, our next story takes us to Chicago. I know some of our members are in here from Chicago. Now, a Chicago museum is set to return a 900-year-old artifact to the Land of Smiles. That's right, the Art Institute of Chicago will repatriate a 900-year-old artifact, a 12th century plaster fragment depicting the Hindu deity Krishna, to Thailand's Fine Art Department. Originating from the Panom Rong Historical Park in Buriram, the artifact was likely smuggled out around 1965. Now, Nicholas Revere, an expert on Southeast Asian art, linked the fragment to the Panom Rong stone castle, prompting its return. The Institute's board approved the repatriation, highlighting the importance of legal possession of historical objects. Culture Minister Sudawan praised the decision, noting the strong Thailand-U.S. relationship. The fragment will soon return to Praset Panom Rong. Good news, right? This is a weird thing. Obviously, if you go to England, you see the history of how they have been able to populate their museums with artifacts from all over the world. Pretty dark history. But also, it's not limited to governments or states that were colonizers per se. There are plenty of private dealers that end up smuggling and dealing with these artifacts on a black market. So that is also a possibility. The fact that the historian was able to identify exactly where this artifact came from in order to create a repatriation process is very interesting to me and a very positive note. So yeah, I mean, the history belongs to where it happened, in my opinion. So things like this, like you can tour exhibits, right? You can set up some beautiful exhibit about Thailand in this era, and it can go on tour and eventually make its way to an exhibition in Chicago. However, that should be done as part of a project with the country from which the history comes from. So good news here, a fun little happy story. It's always nice when countries can get a piece of their history back in order to show it off in their own museums. So kudos. All right, Scott D apparently has kind words for the Chicago Museum, truly world-class, and yes, world-class behavior, I think, here in returning the stolen goods. Man, I like to give benefit of the doubt. Maybe they did not know, but yeah, they've made right that wrong. All right, now on to our last story. Look, this is being sold as sort of a heartwarming story. For me, it's hitting a little bit different. I want to know what you guys think as I get through this. Now, in Thailand, a girl, 10 years old, has been seen taking notes while feeding her baby sister in school. Now, a video of a 10-year-old girl in Thailand taking notes in class while feeding her baby sister has gone viral, touching the hearts of millions. Now, the footage posted by a primary school teacher on TikTok on May 20th shows the girl multitasking, writing with one hand and feeding her 1-year-old sister with the other. The girl brought her sister to school because her mother was busy working. Now, the video, viewed more than 2 million times, garnered praise for the girl's multitasking skills and dedication. Social media users admired her responsibility and expressed hope that her sister would grow up to be proud of her. Now, good on the sister, taking care of the baby girl while mom is busy working, trying to support the both of them. However, is this an appropriate method of babysitting, right? Like the 10-year-old girl has to be focused on her studies and her school, and taking that extra time to be able to take care of her sister, that's not typically a responsibility we would foist onto someone so young. So yes, heartwarming, of course, seeing this girl step up to this challenging situation and fill that role. At the same time, it brings to my mind the concept of, hey, maybe we need better family planning, maybe some better sexual education, so that we don't have this situation of children having children and then siblings having to take on some of these parental roles. So, tough story for me, heartwarming in some ways, tragic in others. I would like to see some changes in not just education, sexual education, maybe sexual culture, and family care culture as well here in Thailand. Something's just not hitting me right about that story. Let me know what you think in the comments. All right, now that'll do it for our stories about Thaiger. We're going to move on to a couple of stories from around the ASEAN region now as well. Let me check and see what you guys said really quickly, though. C2C has a nice compromise to this situation. Let's raise some money for a scholarship for this college education. Make sure this girl gets a proper education for being so heartwarming and definitely doing the right by her sister. Shy Boy says, education and love is what is called educated loving kindness. But how can she concentrate? I agree completely, right? If you're busy taking care of the sister, it's going to be hard to actually get your education. So that's what I mean about something just not sitting right about that story. The outpouring of support is lovely, but hopefully that can lead to some sort of money raising or fundraising to make sure that that baby has the proper care and that 10-year-old girl can get her proper education. All right. Yes. Anyways, let's move on to our last two stories of the day. Now, the first one has us going over to Malaysia. Now, fresh Malaysian durians are to reach China after a major trade deal. That's right. So, fresh Malaysian durians will soon be exported to China following new trade and economic deals signed during Chinese Premier Li Qiang's visit to Malaysia. Now, Li met with Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim to sign a 5-year economic cooperation deal and a protocol allowing fresh durian exports. This opens a new market for Malaysia, which has seen frozen durian exports to China grow significantly. The visit, marking 50 years of diplomatic relations, also covered territorial disputes in the South China Sea and agreements on digital economy investments, green development, and more. Anwar's office praised the strengthened economic ties and cooperation. Always a funny thing. Durian diplomacy, baby. No matter what, you can always win the hearts and minds of the Chinese people with your beloved king of fruit durian products. Now, Malaysia's already been exporting plenty of frozen durians to China. Now it will be fresh durians, making it to the Middle Kingdom, which of course carry a much higher price tag. Something just absolutely strange to me as an American who is super not into the fruit, and it was never a thing in my culture coming back from back home to see what a big part of not just the Thai economy but also the Malaysian economy and of course the consumer economy in Thailand. Absolutely mind-boggling how much money is involved in this and how much these trade deals mean to these local economies. So yeah, the king of fruits. Not for me, but certainly for most in Asia. Shy Boy says, durian should be titled King of Fruits. Now we can pass a bill on it. Yeah, fair play. And Scotty D, thank you for the support. Do be sure to like and subscribe. Smash that like button, people. Thank you very much. Now, our final story, always marred in controversy, is the Russian President Vladimir Putin. Now, he has made his way down to the Southeast Asian region. That's right, so Putin has arrived in Vietnam for a state visit, marking the final stop of his Asia tour after a defense pact was announced in North Korea. Now, greeted by Vietnamese leaders, Putin praised Vietnam's neutral stance on the Ukraine crisis, highlighting progress in bilateral trade, energy, and payments. Vietnam maintains balanced relations with the U.S. and EU despite its ties with Russia. Putin's visit aims to show Russia's continued partnerships in Asia amid Western sanctions. He will meet top Vietnamese leaders and participate in ceremonial events while he is there. The visit, his first since 2017, may include agreements on trade, investment, technology, and education. Yeah, so Putin is he's on tour. Obviously, the big news this week is that he's announced a new defense pact with the people of North Korea. Now, the North Koreans have already been supplying weapons and ammunitions for the Russian war effort in Ukraine. Obviously, this is not setting well with Ukraine and its other Western allies. So this is a careful balancing act that a nation like Vietnam is walking a tightrope, right? Obviously, America has had its own problems with Vietnam historically, but most of that stuff is considered a thing of the past, not just by the Americans, but by the Vietnamese people as well. As there's plenty of business as usual between the two nations. However, that Vietnam's unique positioning and history allows it to sort of take up this middle ground road. Similar to the way that Thailand likes to play Switzerland of the East, it does appear that Vietnam is attempting to slip into that role a little bit as well, with extremely complex relations, not just with, with Russia, but also with China, with the United States, with its neighboring ASEAN countries as well. So an interesting move. We'll see what comes out of this. I imagine mostly just, education, investment, trade partnerships will come out of this, which is, the West will shake its hands at this, but also Vietnam has to do what's right for Vietnam. And if that means Russian investment money to develop its economy, then that's their prerogative. So, I'll keep my nose out of that one. Anyways, guys, that'll do it for our updates from around the land of smiles. You can always go to thetiger.com to see more news from Thailand. I also encourage you to go to ASEAN Now and join the forums over there to get into discussions, arguments, whatever, tell jokes. There's funny threads, there's informative threads, there's all sorts of stuff to check out on ASEAN Now, which is Thailand's biggest expat forum. So please do join the conversation over there, and do join me again tomorrow for our Friday show, where we will be with you all as usual. That'll do it for today, and let me get into the comments and see what all of you guys have to say about what's going on.